My high school ex reached out after 15 years and I uncovered his secret double life. I ended up meeting his wife, Mistress, and secret daughter he didn't know about. Hi Reddit, I'm Emily, 33 female, and I need advice about a situation involving my high school sweetheart, Brett, 34 male. We dated for 3 years until I was 18, and things ended terribly between us. Brett and I met in our sophomore year of high school. We were lab partners in chemistry class and hit it off immediately. Brett was the star quarterback of our school's football team, and I was a bookish girl who tutored other students in math. We were an unlikely pair, but we balanced each other out perfectly. Brett's home life was complicated. His parents had divorced when he was young, and he lived with his mother, who struggled with alcoholism. His father was a successful businessman who lived in New York City. Brett often talked about following in his father's footsteps and making it big in the city that never sleeps. As for me, I came from a close-knit family. My parents owned a small bookstore in our town, and I spent most of my free time there, surrounded by books. I dreamed of becoming a writer someday. Despite our different backgrounds, Brett and I fell deeply in love. We made plans for the future. We'd go to college together, then move to New York after graduation. Brett would work on Wall Street, and I'd write my novels in a cozy apartment overlooking Central Park. Everything changed during our senior year. Brett's father passed away unexpectedly from a heart attack. Brett was devastated and became withdrawn. I tried my best to support him, but he pushed me away. Then, at our senior prom, I caught Brett kissing my best friend, Corey, behind the gym. I was heartbroken. I confronted Brett, but he denied everything, claiming Corey had kissed him and he pushed her away. I didn't believe him and ended our relationship on the spot. Brett tried to explain, but I refused to listen. I was too hurt and angry. After graduation, I went to a local college to study English literature. Brett, true to his plan, went to New York for college. I heard through mutual friends that he and Corey started dating shortly after. That was the last I heard of him for many years. I graduated college, got a job as an editor at a publishing house, and eventually published my first novel. Life was good, and I had all but forgotten about Brett. Then, 2 weeks ago, I received a friend request on Facebook from Brett. Curious, I accepted it. Almost immediately, he sent me a message. Hey Emily, it's been a long time. I hope you're doing well. I've been thinking a lot about our past lately, and I realize now that I made a huge mistake all those years ago. I'm back in town for a while and was wondering if you'd like to meet up for coffee. I have something important I need to talk to you about. Brett. I was surprised by the message. It had been 15 years since we last spoke. Why was he reaching out now? And what could be so important that he needed to tell me in person? Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet him. We set a date for the following week at a local cafe. The day before our meeting, I received another message from Brett. Emily, I know this might seem strange, but do you still have that locket I gave you for our first anniversary? The silver one with the bird engraving. If you do, could you bring it when we meet? It would mean a lot to me. The locket. I had almost forgotten about it. Brett had given it to me, saying it was a family heirloom passed down through generations. I hadn't worn it since our breakup, but I had kept it in a box of high school mementos. Now I was really curious. Why did Brett want the locket after all these years? Something didn't feel right about this whole situation. I decided to do some digging before our meeting. I looked up Brett on social media and found his profile. To my surprise, his relationship status said married and there were numerous photos of him with a beautiful woman named Sophia and 2 young children. Confused and suspicious, I reached out to an old high school friend who I knew kept in touch with Brett. She told me that Brett had indeed married Sophia, a woman he met in college. They had been married for 10 years and had 2 children together. Brett had a successful career on Wall Street, just like he always wanted. But why would a happily married man with a successful career be reaching out to his high school ex-girlfriend? And why did he want that old locket? I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. So, I made a bold decision. I found Sophia on Facebook and sent her a message, explaining who I was and about Brett's recent contact with me. To my surprise, Sophia responded almost immediately. She was shocked by what I told her. Apparently, Brett had told her he was on a business trip this week, not back in our hometown. She had no idea about the locket or its significance. Sophia and I talked for hours, piecing together the puzzle of Brett's life. It turned out that Brett had been living a double life for years. He had another family, a longtime girlfriend and a child, in our hometown. He had been splitting his time between New York and our town, telling each family he was away on business when he was with the other. The locket, Sophia explained, contained a small key. This key opened a safety deposit box in our local bank, where Brett kept documents related to his secret life. Sophia was devastated but grateful for the truth. We decided to confront Brett together. She would fly down the next day, and we would both meet him at the cafe instead of just me. Now, I'm sitting here the night before the confrontation, wondering if I'm doing the right thing. Am I overstepping by getting involved in Brett's life after all these years? Or do I have a responsibility to expose his lies? I could use some advice, Reddit. Am I wrong for potentially ruining my high school sweetheart's life by exposing his double life 15 years after our breakup? Update 1. Hey Reddit, thanks for all your support and advice on my last post. The situation with Brett has unfolded in ways I never could have imagined, and I wanted to give you all an update. First, the confrontation. Sophia arrived early the next morning, and we met for breakfast to discuss our plan. She was understandably emotional but determined to face Brett and get answers. We arrived at the cafe before Brett. When he walked in and saw both of us sitting there, the color drained from his face. He tried to turn and leave, but Sophia called out his name, stopping him in his tracks. What followed was an intense and emotional conversation. Brett initially tried to deny everything, claiming there was a misunderstanding. But faced with evidence from both of us, he finally broke down and admitted to his double life. He revealed that he had reconnected with Corey, my former best friend, during college breaks. They had a child together, but Brett wasn't ready for the responsibility. He kept it a secret from everyone, including his family in New York. He had been sending money and visiting periodically, playing the role of the successful businessman who traveled frequently. The locket, it turned out, didn't just contain a key to a safety deposit box. It also held a micro SD card with photos and documents related to his secret family. Brett had been trying to retrieve it to destroy the evidence because Corey had started demanding more from him, threatening to expose everything. Sophia was devastated. She left the cafe in tears, telling Brett not to come home. Brett tried to follow her, but I stopped him, insisting he owed us both more explanations. In the days that followed, the situation exploded. Corey, upon learning that Brett's secret was out, went public with her story. Local news picked it up, and soon Brett's carefully constructed life began to crumble. Sophia filed for divorce and full custody of their children. Brett's firm suspended him pending an investigation into whether he had misused company resources or funds to maintain his double life. As for me, I found myself in the middle of a storm I never expected. Brett's parents reached out to me, asking for details about what happened in high school, trying to understand where their son had gone wrong. Corey also contacted me, apologizing for what happened in high school and explaining her side of the story. She had genuinely fallen for Brett and believed his promises that he would leave Sophia and build a life with her and their child. The most surprising development came from an unexpected source. A young woman named Megan reached out to me through social media. She claimed to be Brett's daughter, not from Sophia or Corey, but from a third relationship Brett had managed to keep hidden from everyone. She had been trying to find information about her father and stumbled upon the news stories about Brett's exposed double life. I'm still processing everything that's happened. On one hand, I feel relieved that the truth is out and that Sophia and Corey can now make informed decisions about their lives and the lives of their children. On the other hand, I can't help but feel a twinge of guilt. Did I do the right thing by exposing Brett's lies? Should I have minded my own business? I've been dealing with a mix of emotions. While I'm glad the truth is out, I can't help but think about the impact this will have on all the innocent people involved, especially the children. For now, I'm trying to move forward with my life. I've taken a leave of absence from work to deal with the media attention and to process everything that's happened. I've also started seeing a therapist to work through my feelings about the situation. Thank you all again for your support and advice. It really helped me find the courage to do what I felt was right. I'll keep you updated if anything else significant happens. Update 2. Hey Reddit, it's been 2 months since my last update, and the Brett situation has continued to evolve in unexpected ways. I appreciate your continued support and interest in this complicated story. First, the legal fallout. Sophia's divorce proceedings are well underway. She's pushing for full custody of their children and a significant portion of Brett's assets, citing his deception and potential misuse of family funds. Brett isn't contesting much, seemingly resigned to the consequences of his actions. Corey has also taken legal action, suing Brett for years of unpaid child support and emotional damages. She's become an unexpected ally for Sophia, with the two women supporting each other through this difficult time. The most surprising development involves Megan, Brett's previously unknown daughter. DNA tests confirmed her claim, and she's been in contact with Brett's other children. Despite the circumstances, they've formed a tentative bond, united by their shared experience of their father's deception. Brett's professional life has imploded. His firm's investigation uncovered that he had indeed misused company resources to maintain his double life. He was fired and is now facing potential criminal charges for fraud and embezzlement. As for Brett himself, he checked into a rehabilitation facility for depression and alcohol abuse. His mother reached out to me, explaining that Brett had struggled with addiction for years, hidden from everyone. While it doesn't excuse his actions, it sheds some light on the roots of his destructive behavior. The media frenzy has mostly died down, but the story has had some unexpected consequences in our community. It sparked conversations about infidelity, addiction, and the pressure to maintain a perfect image. A local support group has even formed for people dealing with similar situations. On a personal note, I've been grappling with my role in all of this. While I know exposing the truth was ultimately the right thing to do, I've struggled with guilt over the fallout. My therapist has been helping me work through these feelings, reminding me that Brett's actions, not mine, are the root cause of all this pain. There's been an unexpected bright spot in all this chaos. Remember the novel I mentioned I had published? Well, all this publicity has led to a surge in sales. My publisher has even approached me about writing a book about this experience, exploring themes of truth, deception, and the long-term impacts of our choices. I'm considering the offer, but I'm hesitant about profiting from this situation. I've been in discussions with Sophia and Corey about the possibility of donating a portion of any proceeds to a charity supporting children affected by family breakdown. As for the locket that started all of this, I've decided to sell it and donate the money to a local addiction treatment center. It feels like the right way to close this chapter and potentially help others who are struggling like Brett was. Looking ahead, I'm focusing on healing and moving forward. I've returned to work and am throwing myself into a new writing project. I've also reconnected with some old high school friends, finding comfort in reminiscing about simpler times. Thank you all again for your support throughout this journey. Your advice and kind words have meant more to me than you know. I'll post another update if any significant developments occur, but for now, I'm hopeful that the worst is behind us and that everyone involved can start to heal and move forward. Update 3. Hello Reddit, it's been a full year since this whirlwind began, and I thought I'd share one final update on how things have progressed. The legal matters have mostly been settled. Sophia's divorce from Brett was finalized 6 months ago. She received full custody of their children with Brett granted supervised visitation rights. The court also awarded her a substantial portion of their assets, considering Brett's deception and financial misconduct. Corey's lawsuit against Brett for back child support was also settled out of court. While the details are confidential, I've heard that the settlement was fair and will provide security for her and their child. Brett faced the consequences of his professional misconduct. He pleaded guilty to lesser charges of misuse of company funds and received a suspended sentence, contingent on his completion of rehab and ongoing therapy. He's been banned from working in finance and is currently working at his uncle's hardware store while continuing his recovery. Megan, Brett's previously unknown daughter, has integrated into the extended family. It's been a challenging process, but she's formed a close bond with her half-siblings. Sophia and Corey have been incredibly gracious, welcoming Megan and helping her understand her father's complicated history. The book deal I mentioned in my last update became a reality. Tangled Webs, Unraveling a Life of Lies was published 3 months ago and has been well received. As promised, a significant portion of the proceeds is being donated to charities supporting children affected by family breakdown and addiction treatment centers. The process of writing the book was therapeutic for me and, surprisingly, for others involved. Sophia, Corey, and even Brett contributed their perspectives, turning it into a multifaceted exploration of truth, deception, and redemption. It's opened up important conversations about the long-term impacts of our choices and the complexities of human relationships. On a personal note, I've grown tremendously from this experience. My relationship with truth and trust has evolved. I've become more empathetic, understanding that people's actions, no matter how hurtful, often stem from deep-seated pain or struggles. I've also found love again. David, a fellow writer I met at a book signing, has become an important part of my life. He's been incredibly understanding about my past and supportive of my journey. As for Brett, he's making progress in his recovery. He's taken full responsibility for his actions and is working hard to rebuild relationships with his children. While he knows he can never fully repair the damage he's caused, he's committed to being a better person and father moving forward. Sophia has found happiness too. She's excelling in her career and has started dating someone new who adores her and her children. Corey has gone back to school to pursue a degree in social work, inspired to help others navigating complex family situations. The locket that started it all? The money from its sale funded a year-long scholarship for a student at the local addiction treatment center. It feels fitting that an object once used to conceal secrets is now helping someone work towards a more honest, healthy life. As I reflect on the past year, I'm amazed at how one small decision, to meet an old flame for coffee, snowballed into such a life-changing series of events. It's been a difficult journey, but one that's led to growth, healing, and unexpected connections. To anyone out there facing a difficult truth or grappling with the consequences of past actions, I want to say, it's never too late to choose honesty and work towards redemption. The path might be challenging, but the freedom and growth on the other side are worth it. Thank you, Reddit, for being a part of this journey. Your support, advice, and perspectives have been invaluable. While this chapter of my life is closing, I'm excited for what the future holds, and I'm grateful for the lessons learned along the way.